You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Craven the hunter, who uses all the methods of the animals.
This Thursday.
Once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
Are you like your father?
He puts evil into the world. I get rid of people like him.
Who's next?
Witness the making of a new Marvel villain.
You think you have some kind of honor? You're a criminal, just like our father.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Craven the Hunter. Rated R. Under 17 on admitted without parent. In theaters Thursday.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We are on in more places than we ever have been. DraftKings Network every day, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 Eastern, Samsung TV, Roku channel, Vizio Watch Free Plus, a bunch of others. You can watch the show on the DraftKings Network. Go to DraftKingsNetwork.com. You can also find our show on Peacock, the NBC Sports Fast channel, Monday to Friday, 12 to 3 Eastern, YouTube, and Max, of course, on podcasts, anywhere you get them, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple, Sirius XM Channel 85 as well. We've got breaking news here that I want to get to our experts on because we've got a lot of Miami Heat and basketball experts around here. Shams and Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald say that the Miami Heat are open to listening to trade offers for Jimmy Butler. He is open to playing for Dallas, Houston, and Golden State. According to Shams, the Heat are open to listening to offers for Butler and making a deal if the proposal is right. League sources told ESPN and Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, has indicated in league circles that Butler is open to destinations such as two of the Texas teams, Houston and Dallas, and Golden State. He's a native of Houston. He's believed to want to win right now. Among what's available, and Golden State is trying to get another star for Steph, that one makes a lot of sense, but I can't see Pat Riley making a trade that doesn't bring back someone who is better than Jimmy Butler, who makes his team better. I don't see Pat Riley playing for tomorrow's so that Jimmy Butler gets to win now. So what do you see from among the packages that Houston and Dallas and Golden State would have that would make Miami either the same or better than they are right now without Jimmy Butler?
Well, all the teams that would want to acquire him are looking at him as an upgrade, right? As a missing piece to take them over the top. So you're not going to give away a foundational piece for the piece that's going to take you over the top because that just moves you back. The thing that Miami has to face, we could say that Pat Riley never takes a step back or whatever, but the reality that they're facing is that Jimmy Butler can opt out after this season. And so you're risking use it or lose it. So basically, maybe they're not going to get a player that's better than Jimmy Butler, but I can see them making a deal to get players, giving us more depth, giving us more options and flexibility.
I'm assuming that a third team would have to be involved because I'm assuming that Pat Riley is going to be as win now as Jimmy Butler is and as Steph Curry is.
Look, they're not win now as it is, right? We can agree to that. Miami, right now, you're not going to win now. Right? A deal can be done where it's not necessarily, hey, young guys, unproven guys, picks. A deal can be done where it's like, okay, we got a bunch of solid players to fill out our rotation, so we are still roughly in the same place as we were competitively. Maybe we got a couple assets on the side as well for the future. I think that is a possibility that's not a necessarily detonation, which is what Greg was asking. Don't they have to blow it up? I don't think they're going to blow it up, but I also don't think they're going to get a player as good as Jimmy Butler back in a deal right now.
It would have to involve a third team because none of those other teams are going to give up a player better than Jimmy Butler to get Jimmy Butler.
But I'm saying that even with a third team, I don't think you're going to get like this amazing player out of it. I just
But
don't.
Dan is thinking then the deal won't happen because Riley isn't playing for tomorrow.
It is
He's
a
not playing for the
depreciated, but it is a depreciated asset from this respect. It's a very expensive contract. Mm-hmm. It is expiring.
It's a time bomb.
It might expire if he decides to opt out, and he's 35 years old. Like I don't know how much you're getting for Jimmy Butler.
It's the worst kind of time bomb, by the way, because if it expires and you're still holding it, blows up. We could have got something for him, right? If he doesn't opt out, meaning you got another year, you got to pay him $52 million next year. And How many of us, raise your hands if you think he's going to be better next year than he is this year?
Let's go out to our heat temperature room here where Jeremy Taché, a failed game show host, joins us to give us the homerific perspective on the Miami Heat. What do you have? Certainly you don't agree that the Miami Heat are not in win now mode, right? You don't agree with that, do you?
I think the Heat are pretty much always in win now mode. The thing that's interesting is I don't think, Dan, that if a Jimmy Butler trade was made, that it would necessarily be to acquire another superstar right now. If you look at the teams, whether it's Golden State, Houston in particular, or Dallas, those teams would be sending back a variety of assets that my assumption would be the Heat would play through the rest of their season, giving some of these young guys, Jaime Jaquez would step right into the role that Jimmy Butler is playing offensively. They'd continue to have Bam and Tyler as those building blocks and then try to use all of those assets they acquire to make a move this offseason for another.
Oh, wow. So you guys have them conceding the season.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's also, when you look at Shams' report, there's a huge difference when you're looking at language in all of these reports between listening to offers and pursuing offers. And Houston and Dallas and Golden State are names we heard this offseason that, hey, Jimmy's open to being traded. Jimmy wants an extension. None of this is all that new in terms of the information that we already knew. It's just a matter of it being reported right now by Shams that's forcing us to have the conversation. Ironically, it's as the Heat are on their sort of best stretch of the season with wins in the last 3 games.
What Jeremy is saying is absolutely right. Listen to the verbiage, and the verbiage in these things matters every single time. The Heat are open to listening to offers for Butler and making a deal if the proposal is right. And then later on it says Bernie Lee has indicated in league circles that Butler is open to destinations such as the 2 Texas teams. So when you are talking like that, it isn't like Jeremy said, it isn't like an aggressive, we got to move this guy, we got to do something. It is, okay, it's not a, hey, absolutely not hang up the phone when you call asking about him.
I want more experienced veteran analysis. Izzy, what do you have here for us on what it is that we're talking about? Even though Jeremy has more information, he's got some other things that he wants to say. Greg Cody's contribution is to just drop his thermos.
I was like, what is?
I wouldn't drop my thermos. What was that sound?
Izzy, what were you saying? What did you have to say about what we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm always here for you, Dan. I'm here to say what Jeremy doesn't really want to say. This is old news, man. This has been out there for a minute. We've already known that the Miami Heat they'd be silly not to do this. They'd be a terrible team not to do this, an organization not to do this. The guy has told you he's going to be a free agent next year. You have to assess the situation. You have to see what teams are going to offer you. It doesn't mean that they're going to take anything. It also doesn't mean that they are not looking for other trades that don't involve Jimmy Butler, Dan. Other trades that would assure you they are in win-now mode. They're still assessing the situation. Their defense has looked a lot better. Amin told you that their offense has been in the top 10. They've basically switched and said, hey, if we're going to win, it's not going to be with 43s. It's going to be with defense that turns into offense. They're currently looking like that team that you don't want to face in a 7-game series. So nothing's been decided with Jimmy Butler, all due respect to Shams.
Jeremy, what you were saying I agree with, though. If you have Spo and Pat Riley, you ain't playing for tomorrow. And I don't even know if perhaps they should fold their hand because the gulf is so big between where the Celtics are and where they are that I'm not even sure that it's the wise thing to do, but I don't see Spo and Riley playing for tomorrow's.
I don't think that they are playing for tomorrow. I think that when you're looking at this conversation, it's about what might happen come the trade deadline, right? Like, this doesn't mean that there's some sort of trade that's imminent. It's bringing up a conversation that those teams are interested in Jimmy Butler, that Bernie Lee has said, hey, he'd be open if he's going to get traded to those few teams, that the Heat are willing to listen. But this is more likely than not the type of saga that plays out right until the trade deadline. And there's a long way to go in this season. If the Heat are 10 games over 500, playing great basketball, looking like a contender in their conference, maybe outside of Boston, more likely than not, Jimmy Butler stays. But if this whole thing falls apart, he's playing poorly, the team's playing poorly, Tyler Hero isn't playing at the all-star level that he's been playing thus far this season, and everything looks like it's coming to an end, it'd probably be beneficial to both parties to move on with a couple of months left in the season and go from there.
You're not close to where Boston is. You're not.
No, I mean, but that's my point. When you're saying Pat's not going to do a deal, I said it may not be up to him, right? Like at this point, you can either hold on to this thing and just peter your way back to the play-in and maybe give someone a run for their money in the first round, or you can be proactive and start doing something that can impact next season and the seasons beyond.
The current iteration of the Heat is going nowhere. It's spinning its wheels. It's not gaining ground on the rest of the East. It's a gulf from Boston. You have to do something. The time is now. You have to get something for Jimmy Butler. There's no question.
The time is now.
The time is absolutely
right now.
The time. Not right now, but before the trade deadline. Yeah, absolutely.
The time is now. Before February. The time is now.
Yes.
Right now, trade Jimmy Butler. Stronger than Izzy, stronger than Amin, stronger than Jeremy. Greg Cote.
You have to get something for him.
Greg Cote.
Something better.
Long time. Well, that's different. Long time Miami Herald columnist Greg Cote is saying the time is now. Trade Jimmy Butler.
You have to get something for him before he becomes a free agent.
Right now.
I don't know why you're emphasizing right now. Obviously,
you said it. You said the time is now. I'm quoting you.
Okay, by the way, I didn't drop my thermos.
The time is now.
He didn't drop his thermos.
The time is before the trade deadline. Before
is
he
it
opts
now?
out
Is
for
the
free
time
agency.
now or is the time February?
Okay, I'm not going to contribute to your foolishness.
That a boy.
The time is now.
What's up, everybody? Tony here. Do you love sports betting as much as I do? Wish you can get that extra edge? Well, I've got great news for you. Masterclass, which I love, by the way, just dropped Bet Smart Top Sports Betting Strategies, a game-changing course taught by GOATs, taught by the pros, such as Nick Kostos, Captain Jack Andrews, Joe Fotenbaugh. Learn directly from the pros as they share insider secrets on managing your bankroll, spotting hidden gems, and avoiding those rookie mistakes that could cost you big. I'm always looking for useful tips and tricks to improve my bankroll and just to be a better bettor in general. That's why I took the Bet Smart Top Sports Betting Strategies class. I consider myself a pretty confident bettor when I hear Rob Pizzola, when I hear Captain Jack break down the pros and the cons of flat staking, of protecting your bankroll against bad bets, a lot of different things that we don't think about as regular bettors. I realized I wasn't betting to my full potential, and that's why I love taking this class with Masterclass. Masterclass always has great offers during the holidays, sometimes up to as much as 50%. Head over to masterclass.com/DLB for the current offer. That's up to 50% off. Masterclass.com/DLB. Masterclass.com/DLB. And remember, all sports betting involves risk, and you're responsible for complying with all sports betting laws in your jurisdiction.
Don Batard.
I want to address Tony and all men who would wear that shirt in public.
Stugotz.
Don't do it.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Let's do weekend observations, please.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, just 96 calories, available for delivery. You okay, Greg?
I love when he's
mad at
steaming.
you. Is so mad at you.
I'm always telling him when he's mad, it's funny. All you got to do is give him a pair of Wu-Tang shoes. He'll be fine.
Dan, this game is more than just a game. This game is a celebration of honor, service, and unity, played between two teams who will one day stand shoulder to shoulder in defense of this great nation. This game is so big, it gets its own weekend. Triple options, mutual respect, an iconic flyover that will send chills down your spine. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, Army-Navy is back.
He is so mad.
So mad.
What are you mad about? I'm just putting you down on, are you saying they need to trade him right now? And you were being slippery.
You kept repeating the phrase "right now."
Yeah, he did.
The time
Obviously,
is now.
obviously, by right now, I mean before the trade deadline before he becomes a free agent, and they get zero for him. But if you have buyers for Jimmy Butler right now, explore it. Take the best deal. Get something now rather than nothing.
Right now,
Jack.
He's mad again.
Yeah.
He's not here for any of our foolishness.
No.
You guys are making this worse. You know that.
Right.
Thank you, Billy.
I mean, he
Or
has
better.
been
Well, Dan does know that.
dead serious since we started talking about his Hall of Fame vote. Like, he has not had an unserious thought since then.
Well, the damn Veterans Committee is undoing his hard work.
Right. What's the point?
Let's get back to face rubbing. We're on video now, Dad. You can show us. We didn't get to see it in the pre-show.
Yeah, I'm not in the mood.
Yeah. You have to be in the mood to do it.
Yeah, you do.
Put it on the poll
can't
at
speak my
Batard
face
Show.
rubbing.
Do you have to be on the mood to rub your face?
You
The
do.
thing about a face
Yeah, I
rub
think,
is like
right.
you could be in a good mood and do the face rub because it's soothing, or like a bad mood.
It's
and you're
true.
like, I need a face rub.
You're right.
Now.
It can be.
Dan's doing it.
Yeah, it can be an expression of exasperation.
Yeah. Many moods.
See, that's an amateur face.
Yeah,
rub
I
you're
know,
doing
that's-
right now.
Too much fingertips.
That's an amateur.
Yeah.
Wait, is it more palm?
He does it with he gets his whole hand in there.
You got to use
Show
both
us.
full hands.
There
Look, we
he
got him
goes.
doing it. He said he wasn't
There
in
you
the mood,
go.
and now he's doing it.
Right. Well, he
Wow.
sees someone who's not an expert.
He's like, I got to.
Right, you got to show him how. Show him the ropes.
I'm just learning.
Tariq Hill, good to see you again. Arch Manning wins that game. Army Navy, no losers, Dan, just winners. I still believe there's a chance for Alabama to get in.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is there still a chance Alabama will surprise you and win the national championship?
I won't believe the committee didn't put Alabama in until those games start. I want to rub my face.
Feels pretty good.
If you bet on James Franklin in a big game, you have nobody but yourself to blame.
Well, who else would you blame if you were the one making the bet?
James Franklin.
Okay.
I mean, I do it all the time. I bet on James Franklin. He loses. I yell at James Franklin. I should be yelling at myself. That's all. It's my fault. I fell for it.
If you bet, put it on the poll, Juju. If you bet on James Franklin to win a big game, should you just start screaming at the mirror?
Good thing we spent 5 hours last week debating Alabama versus Miami for that final playoff spot.
Time well spent.
Jesus. If you have a quarterback whose last name is Manning and don't play the quarterback whose last name is Manning, you have no one but yourself to blame. I mean, what are you doing? There's a Manning on the roster.
Yeah.
Plays quarterback.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The witching hour in December, where good losses turn into bad wins and bad wins turn into good losses. How about that? Carolina Panthers, the hottest team on a 3-game losing streak in NFL history.
Carolina playing close games at this point in the season is a giant surprise.
Bryce Young has mastered the game-winning drive that doesn't actually win you the game. He leaves just enough time on the clock for the other quarterback to come out and get the victory. It's amazing. He wins while losing. He's unbelievable. They should surround him with some talents. I'm happy for Bryce Young, aren't you?
I am.
I mean,
he looks like someone who's more competent over the last 3 games than I ever thought he was going to look in an NFL uniform once they benched him.
The B in Boise State stands for bye. I can't watch a game on the blue turf for more than a minute without getting a headache.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Does the blue turf give you a headache?
Army, winning the American Conference. Poetic. Hey, Cowboys, just so we're clear, you're not America's team. Army is. Dan, you know what the A in Army stands for?
America's team.
Wow, you got it.
Yeah, that one was you've been tricking me the last couple of weeks. You've been leading me. You've been.
I figured that's why you would guess something outlandish, and I was going to come back and just say Army.
Yeah. You've thrown me off of my game by throwing that bait out there again and again the last couple of weeks just for me to get it wrong.
The committee should be embarrassed for leaving Army out. Ward Manuel should have to go to every single cadet's door to door, knock on their door, and tell them to their face, you're not good enough.
No thank you for your service is what he should have to do. Go
War
door to
manual.
door and say no thank you
One-loss
for
Army
your
team.
service.
Texas, Georgia, the rare game with 2 backups who are better than the 2 starters. Dan, if you listen carefully, you can hear Bill Belichick sniffing around. He's got a big schnoz. Belichick's recruiting pitch would be to sit on your couch and very slowly put each of his 8 rings on while not saying a single word. I mean, 4 of those are Brady's. It doesn't matter. We digress, but that's what you do, right? If you're Belichick, just put them on.
His girlfriend followed UNC football on Instagram.
Oh, boy. It's over.
Jordan Hudson.
Done deal. A 72-year-old Bill Belichick. You can't fault Carolina for trying to get younger. Chapel Hill, more like Chapel Bill. If Belichick coaches Carolina, I fully expect Matt Castle to be the backup quarterback. Josh McDaniels, UNC offensive coordinator, collision course. The Chiefs can't keep getting away with it. If there's a way to win, the Chiefs will find it. Jameis Winston giveth, Jameis Winston taketh. Dan, that big sigh of relief you heard over the weekend was every team in the playoff realizing they don't have to do it against Alabama. I can't decide if I like a 12-team playoff. Losing a conference championship game is supposed to end your season. I didn't like it. I don't like championship weekend. I mean, the whole thing's a mess. I have no idea who's playing who, what team is in what conference. I have no idea. This is confusing. College football used to be easy. If you lose, lose early. Otherwise, don't lose at all.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is change hard for old people? That's what's happening. You want college football the way that you used to have it, and now just you're too lazy to be bothered with where are people playing. Let me just check the internet. Things have changed, so now you're complaining about it. It's what old people do when they're faced with change.
I like 4 teams. I do. I like when these games meant something. I like when Ohio State losing to Michigan would end Ohio State's season. Ohio State could still win a national championship.
That's right.
I don't like that. I mean, it doesn't count unless you beat Michigan.
They have made the regular season somewhat less interesting by having all the teams lose 2 and 3 times. Yes.
Thank you. You agree?
This year, yes.
If George Steinbrenner was alive, I can guarantee you one thing. Juan Soto would not be a New York Met.
Who would be out if we were still doing it as 4? Who would it be? Notre Dame at 5? Who's at 5?
Oh, Notre Dame's in.
Like who? If
Ohio State.
But who's at 5? Who's the 5 and the 12 matchup? Is what? If we were still doing 4, we would be eliminating everybody.
Well, Boise State wouldn't be in.
Would
because
Ohio
they're
State?
9.
But would Ohio State be in if we were doing?
So Georgia's in. They won the SEC championship game. Oregon's obviously in, right?
If you're doing the CFP rankings numerically, not by the seedings, it would be Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Penn State are the top 4 in the CFP, not based on the bracket.
So Ohio State wouldn't be in, even though they beat Penn State and have the same record as Penn State.
Mm-hmm. Juan Soto, good luck without the short porch. Taylor. Juan Soto, have fun when it isn't Aaron Judge behind you anymore, and it's Mark Ventios. Taylor.
Taylor's walking around with a North Carolina hoodie that he cut the sleeves off of, and he's dying for anyone to notice that he's doing like an homage to Bill Belichick.
He's going to break the story.
He literally came up to me and was like, look
yeah,
at my
he's
sweater.
telling people to look because no one's caught on to what he did.
Les Taylor.
The Mets committed more money to Juan Soto than the Pirates have to their entire roster over the last decade. It's amazing. Miami Dolphins, back in the mix. What do you think?
I saw the In the Hunt graphic, which I have to be careful about when I say it, in the hunt,
slowly.
and it's the Colts and the Dolphins. It's 6 and 7.
Woof. Yep.
And the Colts have the easier schedule.
That's why the Broncos are in play. We'll get to that later.
But the Colts play the Broncos this weekend.
Yeah, but you want the Broncos to win that. I'll tell you why later. No, you do know. I'm telling you, you know.
Well, you told me already.
He doesn't retain things, Billy. You tell them.
I was trying to play along with the show, man.
Yes.
I was trying to be a good teammate.
That's what you were doing. The Colts schedule is easier than the Dolphins schedule. I can't believe that all the Dolphins have to do is win against a Houston team that's on a bye to 14 weeks into the season, get to mediocrity. That's what this season was supposed to be about.
Quarterback missed 4 games. We've been over this.
You were so ready to pounce on them if they had lost to the Jets on Sunday the way they should have.
If you're trying to tank, it doesn't get much better than Drew Lock.
He's the only one in the league who could still throw up the 9 for 31, right? There's
your guy.
There's no one else playing quarterback who does that as well as Drew Lock does.
Tua is 6-0 versus the Jets. You know what that means, right, Dan? He has their number. Now that I'm thinking about it, Drew Lock should hold out. Drew Lock is as important to a team trying to tank as Joe Burrow is to a team trying to win. How about that? A tanking quarterback, a new position.
TQB.
Oh, man. 82 points in a Big Ten championship game just feels wrong.
It really
More
does.
punts.
It really does.
Here come the Bruins. I can't see Puka Nacua without singing Greg Cody's song. I can't.
Me neither. I thought I was the only one.
No. Kirby Smart, remember when you said everyone forgot about you and nobody believed in you. That was cute. Arizona State wins the Big 12, Oregon wins the Big 10, and yet the Pac-12 was the conference that got dismantled. Pittsburgh Steelers lead the NFL in grit. Taylor Heineke is a Charger, the Green Lizard. New York Jets, that's how you lose a game. Well done. Show me one person who thinks SMU would beat Alabama, and I'll show you a liar. No one thinks that. Juan Soto turned down $440 million only to sign for $765 million. You know what he did, Dano?
I do not.
He bet on himself.
I'm sorry, Amin knew that and I didn't.
Wow.
I wish Amin had gotten in there. He had it. He was lip syncing.
I thought you were going to do
He was trying to cheat and give it to me, and I didn't read his lips correctly.
And he won. $765 million to hit a baseball. Holy hell. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations. Stugotz here. Right now, my friends over at Simply Safe are extending their massive Black Friday deal for our Batard Show listeners. Simply Safe is the home security I trust to keep my home and family safe. I've been telling you that for years. This is your last chance to protect your home at Simply Safe's lowest prices of the year. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home that stops intruders before they break into your home. Old school systems only take action once someone is already inside your home. That's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. Simply Safe is extending its massive Black Friday deal for our listeners. This week only, you can take 50% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan. This is your last chance to claim their best offer of the year. Head to simplysafe.com/DLB to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. There's sure to be rim-rattling slams and no-look passes that bring the crowd to their feet. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN, that's code DAN, D-A-N, for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
Don Le Batard. You don't remember the idea for
I
a
was
home
probably
run
like,
call?
that kind of thing. Something.
Okay, no. The home run call was that kind of swing, that kind of thing.
Stugotz.
Oh, it's a good call.
Thank you. And plus, it doesn't matter who's hitting it. Like, you're not tailoring it to a particular
Correct.
name. You know, all that jazz. You know, you don't got to do that. You just
Right.
a
That would be a
generic
great call. Up,
that
up, and
kind of
away.
swing, that kind of thing.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Got a number of things to get to over the rest of the show. We have a guest that's joining us from The Masked Singer. We're not going to tell you who that is yet, but it's an athlete. And we're also going to talk about that story that everybody's been talking about, which is the murder in the street of the CEO of United Healthcare and the subsequent arrest of now an Ivy League student named Luigi. So we're going to talk to somebody who has done some of the reporting on this. And it felt a little bit seeing the internet sort of enjoy murder. It felt a bit like the movie Natural Born Killers, where the curiosity around trying to find out who would do this over the healthcare calamity that we have in America. And it is a calamity, Stugotz, because I will tell you, having spent 10 months every day in a hospital, that I really felt bad as I walked through sickness and death for all the people who can't afford what it is that's happening in those hospitals that is so unreasonably priced if you don't have insurance. So we are going to talk about that story in a little bit.
You're surprised that there's so much interest in this story because, like, Dateline, 2020, these shows get amazing ratings. People are intrigued by stuff like this.
I'm not surprised that there's this much interest. I'm not surprised by the craze around murder as content, which is just engulfing people. And I understand why this one is interesting to people. The part that I was a little bit surprised by is murder as a source, murder in the street as a source for jokes and a fascination around the murderer that makes it feel like the murderer is a celebrity the way that Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis were in Natural Born Killers. It feels a little dystopian.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's obviously the angst of people are feeling over healthcare prices, and this particular firm has denied more claims than any other as a percentage than any other of the healthcare firms. So there's that. There's also the overall desensitization that we have as a society towards tragedy. We're all running to the internet to make jokes. And then the fact that the alleged killer is both pretty handsome and has a name that's straight out of Central Casting. His name might as well be Spaghetti Lasagna.
Right.
What is the last name? It's Mangione? Luigi
Mangione.
Luigi Mangione.
Sam Morril had a very funny tweet where he had the picture of Tommy DeVito's agent, and he says, "Yes, I represent Luigi Mangione."
We will get to that story in a little bit, but I want to clear the room right now for a man who's got 14 sacks in a couple of seasons. He's got more than 100 tackles. The Rams can beat anybody. They showed you that on Sunday. And he's got an exceptional nickname, the Conductor, that I want to get to in a second. But off the field, he surprised. Billy, how surprised were you by this? You're a Masked Singer aficionado. How surprised were you by the Kobie Turner reveal as goo?
Shocked. I was in shock and awe that Kobie was goo.
Okay.
Had no idea Kobie had goo in him.
All right, so Goo joins us now. Kobie, it is nice to see you. Take us through how you ended up on this show, why you ended up on this show, what your love of singing is, and through this whole story, please. And thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited to be here. So I have an incredible marketing agent, Clint, and he hit us up I remember it's one day me and my fiance were just sitting on the couch here at home, and he texted us and he's like, "Would you guys like to be on The Masked Singer?" We're like, absolutely. And so we're calling him and we're like, what is going on right now? But so he kind of set up all of the details. Like you said, I've been singing for a very long time, really my whole life. And, I've done multiple a cappella groups, choirs. I've conducted, pieces. I've arranged songs. I've composed songs. So the whole nine. I performed different songs. And so music has always been a huge part of my life. And being able to be out here in California, it's been cool to continue to be able to have that be a part of my life. But yeah, it was just a crazy, crazy, crazy experience to be able to have that opportunity to be Goo. It really let out another side of myself. And, I have truly had a blast.
So you've had obviously many personal and career highlights. You got drafted in the NFL. You got cast on the shows. You were saying, where would you rank the feeling of in episode 6 of this season of The Masked Singer when you were about to be eliminated and reveal yourself, I guess, take off your mask? Where would you rank the feeling when you were about to take it off of Jenny hitting the ding dong keep it on bell to save you from elimination?
Yeah, no, it's up there. It's up there for sure. To just be able to, be on that stage, I felt like I had my best performance that night doing House of the Rising Sun. And
that's a good song. That's my go-to karaoke song. It's a good song.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And it fit in perfectly with 1960s Night. And then to be able to go and battle up against the Wasp, and I felt like it was a really, really close battle.
You beat the Wasp, honestly. Like I don't know what the judges were thinking that night that you were voted to go out. And thankfully, Jenny saved you with the ding dong keep it on bell. But I mean, you had a better performance than the Wasp.
I would say I agree as well. But you live and you learn, and you kind of just grow from it. But to be able to share the stage with the Wasp, he sounds like he's a really, really talented guy, and a guy who is probably really, really known in the music world. So to be able to share that stage, I remember we even had some fun moments. We were dancing at the commercial break, but to just know that I was able to stay another episode.
It's a ridiculous sentence. The whole thing is a ridiculous
sentence. Who's the Wasp?
Sentence.
Just tell us.
Yeah, just tell us. You said it's probably very well known.
He can't do that.
Tell us who it is.
You
know who the Wasp is.
He can't tell us who the Wasp is.
Tell us. Just tell us. It's just us.
He can't tell us who the Wasp is. Look
We're
at the size of those hands. Look how small the coffee cup is.
I know.
I thought that was a thimble.
If that person were to slap you in the face, you would not wake up for a month.
Wake up in the past.
So where were your nerves on this? Because you're a singer, was this something that was all celebration for you? Just something that you were wandering around, how is this my life?
So a lot of it was to just be able to be in that moment. It was super cool. But definitely early on, I was some of the most nervous. I was nervous too as we kind of got going and as the competition started to ramp up. But really, it was just a matter of me figuring out how to move in that thing. I mean, every single step I took was like double the HP. So like I had no stamina whenever I had to move in that costume, but I loved it. And to be able to integrate that as a part of myself, to be able to integrate the movements that I had in that costume as a part of myself, and to figure out really how to sing. So there's some nerves, but really for me, to be able to just let it all out each and every night. Like I had to sing full out. A lot of times I'll try and, throw in some falsetto or throw in some mix or, figure out what I want to do with any given song. But with every single song, I kind of had to go full out because the costume is so heavy and so big that if I'm not going full out, something's going to crack or something's going to be super breathy. So it ended up just being this big moment of release because there's not many times in life where you can just sing full out, to have a full production behind you and just go for it and just have the time of your life. So for me, again, it was so much fun to just be there, to be able to share in all of those moments with my fiance. She's my number one support, and she's the most incredible person, the most incredible support system that I could ever ask for. And to just be there and take in all of those moments with her and to have so much fun, to get working with the crew that we had. And, Goo Team is a for life thing, man. Those moments that we shared and that we created was something incredible.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is Goo Life a forever thing?
Kobie, that was all beautiful, but back to the Wasp for a second. Let's play a game that I like to call Buzz Off. So this is how it works. We're all going to guess who the Wasp is, and if we're right, you just do a buzz. You don't say yes or no, you just buzz. And if we're wrong, you tell us to buzz off, okay?
He's not going to do
Is
that.
it Frank Ocean? Frank Ocean.
He's not doing this.
I'm not losing my bread.
Tell us to buzz off. Tell us to buzz off if it's not. Buzz off.
You can tell Billy to buzz off, too, if you want.
Are you a love song guy with your fiance? Might you serenade her?
Oh, yeah. I've written a bunch of songs about her, too. I've wrote most of the songs that I've written when I was in college was about our long-distance relationship because we were long-distance for 6 years. High school sweethearts. I sing to her all the time. And then she can sing a little bit too when she's not too nervous. Sometimes I'll get a serenade myself. I'll play some piano for her, or I'll play some guitar, and just sit back and enjoy the moment of her singing to me. So we'll see. I'm trying to get her to sing to me at our wedding coming up, but I don't know if she's going for it.
Well, to put you on just the spots slightly, I don't know how comfortable you are with a cappella, but can we get a little something that your fiance might hear if Kobie is feeling particularly romantic?
There's so many different songs. There's this song that I wrote for her called Home that I can grab my guitar really fast. It's actually right here.
Do that. Is it Usher, though? Is it Usher?
Please stop.
Oh, no. That's a song that I wrote.
Please stop, Billy.
What do you say about Frankie Ocean, though? I didn't hear it.
Just please stop. He's not gonna want to lose his money. He's getting the guitar for us. Do you have something for him here, me?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if at his wedding if he had gotten the Wasp to come sing. Would the Wasp sing? Oh, I don't know. You should let me love you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that possible?
We have no clue what the Wasp was singing, honestly. I think that we're gonna figure out what the Wasp is singing in a couple of weeks.
You ever wear the Goo costume in the bedroom?
Now we're talking.
I don't have the costume with me. I
What?
wish I did.
Oh, no.
I know. To be able to wear those boots this past Sunday was crazy. But no, Goo is such a big guy. I couldn't even barely fit him through my door if I wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, Jason Derulo?
Please stop, Billy. Please stop doing that. I appreciate it. Go ahead. Kobie has been fighting people for money all his life. You're not going to be able to trick him into him losing his money.
You're not getting me.
Let's see what we've got here, Kobie, and thank you for partaking in our nonsense. I appreciate you doing this for us.
No, this is honestly so much fun. But yeah, this is a song I wrote called Home. I'll just do a little bit of it. Voice is kind of raw in the morning, but we'll see what comes out. So thinking of you every time I'm gone, missing your skin on these nights alone. Life is a drive, you're my ride along. That's why I'm thinking of you every time I'm gone. And then I'll skip around. So, they say home is where your heart is. Mine's been yours since when you came on your way. On that day I knew you'd be in my life. No, our love's not like those movies. We've got ups and downs and bruises, but I can see light at the end when I look in those eyes. So that's all you guys will get today.
We are swooning. We are swooning. We love you more than your fiance.
I want to marry you.
I love you.
Yes, I want to be held by those giant hands.
Tay Diggs?
You guys are awesome. Oh my gosh.
Kobie, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the time and congratulations on all your success, sir.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Mario.
Stop it, Billy.
Bzz.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike. And guess what? It's Miller time. The holiday season brings around lots of joy and also lots of family gatherings at your home. You're inviting people in there. You want to make sure they're happy. Why don't you make their time at your place a Miller time? Pass around that beautiful white can of triple hops brewed Miller Lite and watch the smiles adorn those faces. Make Miller Lite the official drink, the official beverage of your holiday get-together. You know why? Because it is a perfect beer for the holiday season. You'll take a sip, you'll look around, and you'll think immediately, yeah, I made the right call. It's got taste that you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who like beer. Making memories at year-end gatherings? Tastes like Miller time! Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.